Welcome back to the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. This is episode 35. As always, I am Jack and I'm joined by Charlie and Calvin. So how are we, lads?
Hi. I don't know what to say, mate. It's been a while since I've been this happy after a Hibs game. Over the moon. I'll go with that.
Jack, how am I? Do I look all right? Then he asked me silly questions then.
You stole my bit. No, I think we're all very, very, very happy after that, and it would be a silly question to ask otherwise. So I think we'll just jump right into it and get right onto the order of the day. The League Cup semi against Rangers, and Rangers haven't beaten us at Hampden ever.
Sorry, Jack. Sorry, I was going to say who did we play yesterday?
They're Rangers.
Soon to be the Rangers.
Soon to be the Rangers. So we played the Rangers at Hampden. They've not beaten us at Hampden now ever with the new club, and the old co hadn't beaten us since 1979. So there's a fact. And also a fact that I've seen on Twitter, just some more statistics, is they haven't beaten us in a semi-final since 1949. So there's a statistic for you from the old Rangers, and of course the Rangers, the new co, haven't beaten us at Hampden ever. So there you go. So of course this is our first game back since the Celtic defeat with the COVID. Obviously we had the COVID outbreak in the Scots. This has been our first game back since the Celtic defeat at Easter Road. What were our thoughts heading into the game? And I'm going to go to Calvin first. Calvin, what were your thoughts heading into the semi-final?
I was really uncertain. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I'll be honest with you. I thought it would have been a Hibs defeat, just based on how things were going, and with the COVID and that, and not really getting to train and play together. I thought it would have disrupted us, but it actually looks like it had the complete opposite impact of that. I think, like many, I thought Rangers would have probably won that match. Just being honest, it's very difficult to beat Rangers in general, because you're always playing against 12 men, especially in Glasgow, and especially in a cup final. Because if you listen to Sports Scene before it, you know how many times they went on about everybody wants to see an Old Firm Cup final, which there's two things wrong about that. Number one is, no, everybody wants to see an Old Firm Cup final, and number two is, there is no Old Firm. So I was actually quite confused listening to that, to be honest with you. So I didn't know what to expect, but I certainly didn't expect that. But it's really funny because Hibs this year there's been glimpses of it. There's been glimpses of them being really good, and it's like they go through a run of games and you're thinking it's got to click, it's going to click, like someone's got to get a doing, someone's due a doing. And it was the Zombies yesterday, it was absolutely fantastic, and get it right up you. I'll say one thing, deja vu. Putting 3 goals past the Rangers at Hampden is just not out of the ordinary. It's pretty damn normal for the Hibees.
Very true. Very true. So, Charlie, we'll get your thoughts next.
Going into the game, mate, I thought we were going to get beat because we're not playing in a month nearly. But actually, you know what? See, when Gerrard packed his bags and buggered off down south, I felt a wee bit more confident going into that. Obviously, they were playing for their new manager, whatever his name is, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, or Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, as they're calling him now. So I thought we were going to get beat. I thought it was going to be another Jack Ross masterclass at Hampden where we just get pumped, but evidently not true. But I going into it, I thought, it's going to be a tight game. Rangers will probably win it 2-1. But I didn't see that coming at all.
No, I completely agree with both of you. I didn't see it coming at all. I actually was semi-confident, because obviously Gerrard leaving, and I knew their coaching team would consist of Jermaine Defoe, the tea lady, and whoever else. They obviously had quite a makeshift coaching team. But I seen a Rangers fan that I know saying this would have happened with or without Gerrard. I actually agree with that. I think we were due a result against them. We had a lot of pent-up anger for obviously the game at Ibrox, because had Porteous not been sent off, I think we would have beaten them at Ibrox. So yeah. I think we had a lot of pent-up anger and a lot of momentum going into that, and a lot of reason to beat them. So I think we were due a result against them. So I've got to say I was quietly confident, but at the same time I thought, Jack Ross, Hampden, Hibs, I've seen this before. So I was quite confident.
Just to add on to what you're saying, mate, like, look at that semi-final against St Johnstone, like, first 30 minutes, we battered him. Like, we battered Hearts in that semi as well. Like, a lot of people forget, like, yes, we went in clinical, but the only reason they beat us was they got a penalty that was never a penalty in a million years. Do you know what I mean? We had one as well. We missed ours, they scored ours. There wasn't much in it. Do you know what I mean? And the cup final was frustrating, but at Hampden we've been due to give someone an absolute battering, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer team. So I'm absolutely delighted. I must say that, but I do think it was coming. It was definitely on the cards, and I think the difference between this semi-final and the ones in the past is we took our chances. If we score first against St Johnstone in that semi last year, Ken, it's a different game, completely different game. If Jackson Irvine scores that chance in the cup final, completely different game. Kevin Nisbet scores that penalty against Hearts, completely different game. 2-1, we just didn't take our chances, and yesterday we were really clinical. So again, I just like to reiterate, get it right up you, every single Hun, zombie, orange, whatever you want to call yourselves, get it right up you. There's two things that I don't want to go on that. I don't like Rangers, I don't like them. I don't like anything.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think their own supporters like them after that either. So yeah, definitely, it's just brilliant. Like you said, it couldn't happen to a nicer team. It just feels so good because all the crap, especially Porteous was a mention that game and the reaction at the end and everything. He deserved that moment so much after what he got off the abuse he got off the Rangers supporters. So yeah, definitely. So we'll move on to the lineup now. So 3-5-2. Young Josh Campbell given a huge opportunity. What were your thoughts on the lineup? And I'll come to Charlie first.
3-5-2 is the one, mate. I've said it time and time again. 3-5-2 is where we win games. We beat the Zombies in the final in 2016 playing 3-5-2. Pumped them yesterday. We finished third last year playing 3-5-2. It's the formation that works for Hibs. And I would love to see us play that for the rest of the season. We've been due someone a battering. And it's nice to see that we change the formation and it works. Going to your Josh Campbell question, I thought he was fantastic yesterday. He took it like a duck to water. Massive game to come into as well to start. I think he's not really played a lot of games for Hibs. Obviously, he was at Edinburgh City last season, and it just came in and you could have put anyone there in that position. I think they would have played well, but it was nice to see wee man getting his due, and I think it's the type of player that could easily replace Scott Allen in a few years' time. I think he played the right passes, he tackled when he needed to, got himself stuck in. So fantastic for the wee man. And 3-5-2, it does what it says on the tin. You attack, you defend. Just love it. Love that formation with Hibs.
Calvin, your thoughts?
I'm surprised that young Campbell started, I must admit. I'm trying to find my team that I selected. I got one wrong. Yesterday, I thought that Jamie Murphy might have been in and amongst the team. And I had him over Campbell. Other than that, I was bang on with my 3-5-2 prediction on the Fan Hub app, which we were in first place as the best Hibernian support, the best sort of fan group supporting Hibernian on the app. We're now doing it fourth, unfortunately, but getting that one wrong in the lineup. But I was surprised they gave him such a big opportunity. But it was nice to see us actually, he was hungry. He was hungry against Celtic. You can't deny the lad didn't come on and change the game against Celtic. So that was really good that he managed to get himself a chance in the team as well. And I don't think he really let anybody down. I thought it was brilliant. That's what you want. He was young. He was hungry. He had a point to prove. Kenny's made a name for himself. And long may it continue, because I'm glad Murphy wasn't in the squad actually, because I feel like he's not good enough, for me personally. He's all right, but I mean, go back to the chance and go back to the game against Celtic. He misses the goal. He misses the shot there, which is a blatant opportunity to get a goal. He misses the shot if you remember correctly, in the semi-final last year against St Johnstone as well. It was like, and he sort of had his turn in that, and to go through there and play against them as well. He's a professional in that, but no for me, unfortunately, not against them. So I'm delighted John Campbell got a chance. It was really good, and I think it's good because I don't think a lot of people were really shouting out for him at the start of the season and that. So it's good that he's came in and he's working away hard in that. So power to him.
Definitely. I was so happy to see wee Joshy boy start, because he's a great player, and I think you've got another Doig on your hands with him. I think in terms of his progression and how he'll develop as a player, I definitely think he's going on the same trajectory as Doig for me, 100%. And I'm so happy with 3-5-2. I completely agree with what Charlie said, because the 3-5-2 that's when we're at our most solid. Look at it last season. That's the football we played. The 3-5-2 is what's got us to third place in the league. And that's our formation. That's what works best for us. That's where we're at our strongest. When we sort of deviate from that, that's when we lost games or threw away points when we tried to change it up. Jack Ross, he went bread and butter, what we're good at. And exactly, we beat Rangers, or the Rangers, should I say. And I keep forgetting that they're the Rangers now. It's hard because you hear that many
I'll remind you.
Yeah, you better
you.
remind me. You hear that many times from their deluded support base that they're the same club, even though they can't do basic maths. 1872, 2012. Bit of a difference there, isn't there? But I think it worked against them in the 2016 final, and we just play our best football with a 3-5-2. And it instantly, to me, looked more solid. And I think Campbell, completely agree with Charlie again. Duck to water. He was amazing. And for such a young lad to step up on an occasion like that is fantastic. It shows his mentality as a player as well. It doesn't just show his quality on the pitch, it shows his mentality as well. So I was really, really happy with the lineup. The minute I looked at that, I went, yes, well done, Jack Ross. You've played a blinder there. Honestly, he's done it. He's got it spot on, and it proved to be spot on. So moving on, we'll say we outplayed Rangers. I think it's fair to say we outplayed Rangers. I think we looked, as I've already touched on, we looked more solid with 3-5-2. And something that Charlie mentioned to me that I added in was we looked unplayable. We basically looked unplayable for vast swathes of the game. So we'll discuss that. And Calvin, I'll come to you first.
It was a really good performance. Like I've said a couple of times already, I feel like it was coming. I feel like it was just taking a little bit of time to click. And I think the opposition helped. I think because it was Rangers, the players were dead up for it. I do feel like there's a rivalry there. And I think the players probably wanted to get one of their own back. They probably felt they'd been, it was an injustice, the fact that Porteous got sent off and all that, and the way the media and that went after him. I think they looked like a right tight-knit bunch, good bunch together, Kent, quite a tight-knit big team and unit. And it looked like they were all looking after each other in the pitch as well and want to get one back, not only for Porto, but for the fans as well. Like Boyle said, they've been to Hampden a few times, 3 times in a year, unfortunately, on the wrong end of the scoreline each time. So they were due as ones, because if they didn't get that yesterday, I mean, yes, you could say it's against Rangers and things like that, but at the same time, I think you have to realise that it could have completely swung the other way, and a lot of folk could have been, Jack Ross out. How has anyone ever let him have another semi-final and that? Look at his record, you know what I mean? So I feel like the players not only owned themselves it, the fans it, but Jack Ross it as well, because he's kept faith in a lot of those boys and played them consistently. And I think we had quite a good boost with the likes of Doidge and that backing in amongst the squad. Seemed to give them a bit of a lift in that, So, aye, unplayable.
Definitely. And Charlie, your thoughts, mate?
Like I texted you yesterday, Jack. I think there was definitely waves of that game where, we were the better. We were the better team all over the park, really, I would say. But there was definitely the second goal, the hold up play for Nisbet, and it was like watching a team again rather than a group of individuals try to play together. And no better time and place to do it than a semi-final, but also against a bigger opposition in the Rangers. So, we were very, very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the performance was fantastic, and we needed that. And I think it comes back to the whole point of that proves what we can do as a side when we properly show up in games. We get things spot on tactically. The players show up. I think I've said it before. Jack Ross, I think, has been very unfortunate in some games where the players have just not showed up, and he's taken the criticism for that, and he's taken the flack for that. This time the players showed up, and I think I completely agree with that point that Calvin's making, that those players owed that to Jack Ross. He's kept faith in a lot of lads that I think other managers would have booted out the team. That had been Neil Lennon, I think a lot of these boys would have been losing their places. Jack Ross has kept the faith and they've repaid that. And I think that shows that the respect that Jack Ross has in the dressing room as well. You can tell he carries a lot of respect in that dressing room. So, yeah, I think absolutely Jack Ross deserves that.
Even when you talk about Ben Kinsell's interview the other day, and he was talking about there'd been complaints to the blue side of Glasgow and that. Do you know what I mean? We hate them. Everybody hates them in Hibs. You know what I mean? And it's good to have that. It's good to have that because, again, we're no friends. Do you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
absolutely getting amongst them, getting about them, and do what we done. Absolutely battered them. Absolutely battered them. So yeah, I think that's good to have. And I think one of the points. But I'll let you continue on. Sorry, I'm just too excited because we pumped them.
I think we all are. So we'll talk about the goals now. And well, I think really you could say it was Martin Boyle 3, the Rangers 1, because 3 excellent goals for Martin Boyle, 3 well taken goals. So what a game Boyler had. That's what we expect out of the star man. That's why he's called the star man. So I'll come to you first, Charlie. What did you think of Martin Boyle's performance? What do you think of his 3 goals?
I've got a question to ask you, Jag. What's the time? What's the time like now? Oh, sorry, mate. It's 3 past McGregor. Anyway, carry on. 3 past McGregor for Boyle there. Nah, mate, that's what he's capable of. We've seen it time and time again. You know, he's put 2 past the scum at Gorgie the other year there. Like, he's got that in his locker to do to hurt teams in the final third. And the first goal, you know, it's a good finish. The third goal is a penalty, like, but the pick of the bunch was the second one.
Oh, 100%.
He sells Goldson and he just pings it past McGregor. That's why, for my money, he's the best player in that league. And that's a big claim. I know that, but I think he's the best player in the league. And you know, it's been coming. He's had a bit of a sticky patch, but that's what he's got in his locker. So it's good to see him scoring again, and hopefully he can continue that vein of form for the well, I say continue, he's not really lost his form, but you know what I mean, like continue to get these hat-tricks and more than 1 goal, and it's brilliant.
So Calvin, your thoughts, pal?
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Every single goal just absolutely filled me with delight. Was so happy to see that ball hit the back of the net. The first one, absolutely beautiful. Scramble in the box, Rangers players in their arse, McGregor standing in no man's land, boom, on the chest, take the roof of the net off, get it right up you. Brilliant. Loved it. And it was so sour because it was such a poor goal for them to lose. And that makes it all the better for me. Fantastic. And the second goal, pick it out, man. That was a fantastic goal. Straight across the goal like that. McGregor, absolutely nowhere. And I'm getting nowhere near it, eh? So, delighted with that one as well. And the third one, my God, honestly, my stomach was in knots, man. And he just about took McGregor into the net with him, which was absolutely beautiful. Straight down the middle, as hard as you could. Can't deny it wasn't a penalty. It was a stonewall penalty. The way Boyle shields the ball, and I didn't want sports. I've not really heard anything for sports, that, and anyone saying he's a diver or that, but nope, stonewall penalty. He's completely took him off balance when he's in the box. There's no questions. That's a penalty, absolutely. Absolute thunderbolt in the middle. And you know what the best part of that was? The best part of that was, and this is something that I think we've been missing, and this is something that I want Hibs to be like. And it was like Ron said last week, he'd like Hibs to be a wee bit uglier, a wee bit more aggressive when Ron Gordon was on our podcast. And the minute he went down and he gave the penalty, Porteous was right over to the ref and he's in his ear saying, "Card? Is he getting a card for that? Surely he's getting a card for that. You got to book him for that, ref." He was asking for a card, and I thought that is absolutely fantastic because that's what you need. We have not had that in recent years. He should be getting a card for that. Ken, he's obviously fouled him. If it's outside the box, it's a foul. And the fact Porteous was right over asking for a card, that's what you need. You need to put pressure on these refs. And I think that's what we're too nice. I've said that in weeks gone past. We're too nice. We're not aggressive enough. Yesterday we were right in their face. We were the bullies. And it was beautiful asking for him asking for a card. I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. And you've seen that spirit throughout the team. Because Jack Ross, when Morelos didn't actually realise he was playing yesterday, but he went and elbowed Porteous. And, Jack Ross is screaming for a card as well, which is it's what we need. It's what we need. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do want us to be more mean and ask for things and call it out. I think that's something we really need to work on. But for me, the 3 goals were absolutely fantastic. The penalty was a thunderbolt. Like, that's what you want. That's how Boyle is such a successful penalty taker is because he gets the right amount of power and direction on them. And yeah, McGregor had no chance. Second goal was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I can't say anything else about that. And I think the first goal, again, it's a bit like prime dodgeball there. Martin Boyle doing it for Doidge. That's a goal you'd expect Doidge to score. But the awareness, it's so easy to blaze them over the bar as Gold's improved. It's so easy to blaze them over the bar because he wasn't much further out than Boyle was when he had that chance. He just completely skies it. So I think it's really, and any forward will tell you this, any footballer that's been in that situation even will tell you this, that it's easier to miss them than it is to score them. Because you can hit it right to the keeper or you can blast it over. So well done to Boyle for just taking on the chance and scoring. And yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. It's the best I've seen us in a while. And again, it's demonstrating our ability. Once we had all the creative juices flowing, once we had Boyle at his prime, Rangers had no chance. They had no chance. Absolutely not. We were always going to rip them a new one with prime Hibs. So we'll move on now, and this is one that Charlie will be. Yeah, I think Charlie's got to eat some humble pie here. Hanlon was absolutely immense, silencing the critics, brilliant. I think the contract extensions maybe done a bit of good for him. Maybe that's sort of spurred them on to perform. But yeah, I was just amazing for Hanlon. So before we get your thoughts, Charlie, I'm expecting that apology in writing and signed. And maybe a wee box of chocolates for Paul as well to apologise. So I'll let Charlie, because he's actually got something nice about. And don't adjust your sets. He's got something nice to say about Hanlon. So I'll take it away, Charlie.
Before I start, I just want to say that I'm very sorry, Paul, for everything I've said about you. but you've not won me over yet. You know what will win me over? If we win that cup next month. Anyway, going back to yesterday, I thought he was immense. You know, he got booked after like 20 seconds, which for my money, right, in a semi-final, you didn't book somebody 20 seconds in. But anyway, we'll move on for that. Cracking tackle on Aribo, take that. But nah, everything that came his way yesterday, he won it. He put his foot in every time, stood up to the players, used his voice, was just an absolute rock. And that's what I want for my captain. That I didn't care who the captain is. Like, could be Hanlon, could be Porteous, could be any of them. I want them to stand up to the opposition, regardless of the team, drive the boys forward. And we won that game yesterday because our defence was solid, and he's spearheading that defence. So I take my hat off to him. I loved his performance yesterday. I'm very negative about Hanlon most of the time, but yesterday there's nothing bad about his performance. Other than the booking, maybe, but you could argue it wasn't a booking because it was so early in the game. But I take my hat off and want to see more of that film. Want to see more of that.
Galvin, come over to you, pal.
No, I think it was a great performance. I think Paul Hanlon played well, but I think the whole team played well. Hanlon was superb, but I mean, they were all superb, man to man. There was no one, there was no one that underperformed yesterday. They were all brilliant, all done their job really well. Hanlon led by example, obviously being the captain in that as well. Brilliant, really good. It was fantastic to watch. It's scary, nervous at times as well. Like, we're not even 3-1 up. I was still nervous because it's Hibs at the end of the day, and I didn't. No complaints from me. No, I thought they were all brilliant. Thought they were absolutely brilliant. Porteous for the wind up in that for me is obviously taking the biscuit there, but Hanlon was really good. I think he does obviously get a hard time in that, but I think collectively as a team, we had what Hanlon has maybe missed in the last couple years or months. Like, I know a lot of people say he's a leader off the pitch and that, but for me, like, I do like my captain to have like authority, like a Roy Keane type of captain or Scott Brown type of captain, like someone you wouldn't really mess with. But I think the team together yesterday, the way they played a bit ugly and put in hard challenges, and they were up at the ref asking for yellow cards and things like that for the Rangers players and whatever. And I think collectively the whole team stepped up, which maybe took a bit of pressure off Hanlon. But no, I could just be ranting, but nah, I think it was good, mate.
No, definitely. And I think I took a lot of flack on Twitter when I was saying nice things about the team getting called a happy Hibee or whatever. Well, that pays off, doesn't it? I was a happy Hibee, and look at what happened yesterday. I think Paul, he does. I think some of the criticism he takes is warranted. Other times it isn't, and I think he proved the doubters wrong. To me, and I've always had faith in Paul as a player. and I think he showed what he can be as a player yesterday. And he was immense, and the whole team were immense. But I've singled Hanlon out because I think he's a player that's had a difficult time of it recently in terms of the fans getting on his back, and he proved himself. He really did prove himself. So we'll move on to another person that had a lot to prove, and that's the man in the dugout, Jack Ross. He finally does it in a really big game at Hampden, because obviously I know every game at Hampden's big, but obviously Dundee United, Rangers, two very different semi-final opponents there if you look at it. He's finally done it, and I think, you know, that's for me, that silences the Jack Ross out brigade, because he's done it. That is the biggest game he had to prove himself in, and he proved himself as a coach, because I think he set us up spot on. He was shouting, he was asking for things, he was calling the referee out, he was, and the passion at the end for him. I know he's not a man of many emotions, Jack Ross. He likes to try, but he's like that. He's like that at the end. It meant so much to him, the way he's hugging Potter and everything. You could tell that meant so much to him. And I love Jack Ross. And again, I took a lot of flack for that on Twitter. I hope those folk, I'll wait for my apology. Thank you very much, because I kept the faith in Jack Ross. I stuck by him, and look, it's paid off. It's paid off. I know a lot of folk were calling for his head after the league run, but I think there's other mitigating circumstances there, and he proved it. He absolutely proved it. So I thought I'd get that bit out of the way first. I think Jack Ross proved everybody wrong. Well, not everybody. He just proved me right. He proved me and all the folk that have stuck by him right, but he proved all the negative Nellies, which is about 80% of the Hibs supporters base. He proved them. He proved them wrong. I think that's the best thing he could have done. And yeah, I was just so happy to see Jack Ross finally do it and prove the doubt. As long as there's doubters at other clubs, and he's Sunderland saying he was a bottler as well. So he's finally went and done that, and he's done it when it was really, really needed. So I'll come to you first, Calvin. What did you think about
that? Like I said, mate, thoroughly deserved. There's a video of me on Twitter a couple of months ago, probably a month ago, and it was the wee short clip they put out to get folk to watch on Twitter and that. And the short clip said, like, you know, I don't think changing the manager works. Like, you know, we have to have some form of consistency. And I said, look at Jack Ross's tenure. Like, yes, we've been to cup finals. Yes, we've been beat. But for me, like, we haven't necessarily played bad. Like, the cup final wasn't great. We didn't play really well. It was a really frustrating match. But St Johnstone are a really frustrating team. However, I mean, that's like I seen. You see glimpses of it. You see glimpses of it working, and when it works, we're unplayable when it works. I mean, they went up away against Dundee United. You know what I mean? Like, and what was that in the matter, 30 minutes or something, or whatever that was, 3-0 up. You know, we absolutely battered St Johnstone in the semi-final last year for the first 30 minutes. We're battering Rangers at Ibrox. Like, the guys' ideas are coming into play. You know what I mean? Like, beating Hearts away as well and things like that. And, you know, there's been a lot of good results, and you can see it. Like, I'll go back to Ross County at the start of the year. Like, that we were unplayable that game as well. Like, you can see the guys working, and he, you know, everyone speaks highly of him. And for me, I just don't feel that the Jack Ross out big. Like, obviously we all talked about it. And if you go back, I've been a supporter of Jack Ross. And the reason I've been a supporter is because we've seen people come and go consistently over the years, for as long as I've been a Hibby, and it doesn't make a difference. You need consistency. I mean, you need it. You can't just chop and change. And I think Jack Ross really deserved that yesterday. And I think his reaction to the match as well, I think, you know, probably, like you said, he's not a man of many emotions, but I think allowing people to see it was brilliant, because he then, people can actually say, look, this does mean a lot to this guy. And he thoroughly deserves it. I mean, there's only a few things in life can make you feel as good as Jack Ross must have felt yesterday. And look at his face in some of those pictures. The man deserves massive credit. And I hope people can see that he's building something. It's a good time to be a Hibby. He is building something slowly, but surely he's building something. Game time. But yeah, I just feel like people need to get a reality check and just realise that. Do you know what I mean? And there's another cup final. I mean, one at the Kennet's against Celtic, but one of them's got to come off. Do you know what I mean? He deserves it. He deserves something. He deserves to be remembered pretty well, I think, Jack Ross. But maybe going on a bit.
Don't worry about it. I think we're all really excited, and we're all got lots to say, because it's good to finally have something nice to say. And it's good for me as somebody who's a positive fan, and for somebody that always tries to see the positives. It's good that finally despite the flack I've taken for it, that I've been proved right. So Charlie, we'll get your thoughts on that, mate.
I think it's all fine and well that we've beat Rangers, mate, and it's a good win at Hampden. But the next one's more important for me. It's good that we beat Rangers. It's good that we're in the final, but it means nothing if we didn't win this cup now. And I think Jack Ross has silenced a lot of people, myself included, because I wasn't convinced anymore after the past month or two. But no, I think good. Obviously, great to see him get it right at Hampden. I think that's a lot of people's problem with him. Maybe not mine, but some people's problem that we get to Hampden and we just fall apart. But actually, yesterday, Rangers looked like a Hibs team at Hampden rather than Hibs, and we look like we comfortably win at Hampden every time we're there yesterday. And that comes for the manager. That comes for the team talk before the game. It comes to the way he sets us up. So I got it right yesterday, mate. But it's important we do that again in a few weeks' time against Celtic, or there'll be a lot of people that are back on the Jack Ross out camp. I think just if we beat Rangers and then he show up for the final, it's almost worthless beating Rangers. Obviously, it's nice. I'm happy we beat them, but we need to win the cup now. I think.
Definitely. I think it's a tough one. And I was saying before the game, it's a catch-22. If he doesn't win against Rangers, he's a bottler, Jack Ross out. If we get to the final, which we have, and we get beat by Celtic, he's a bottler, Jack Ross out. So it's a catch-22.
You know what, mate, right? See if we win this cup, it shuts everyone up.
It shuts everyone up.
It shuts everyone up about their complaints about, we're not playing entertaining football. He's won us a cup. That's it. It shuts every single negative fan up. And I think that's what I want now. I'm fully invested in Jack Ross now after yesterday. I'm behind it, and I want him to shut everyone up. I really do.
Negative. There's a bit of a pot calling the kettle black situation. But we'll move on.
I'm as negative as it comes. Bye. Good to see him win it yesterday.
We'll move on to a bit of the afters and Porteous's Gerrard's dig, which I personally thought was absolutely hilarious. Nothing wrong with it, but he did cause a bit of seethe from the blue side of Glasgow after that. And Gerrard, to me, I'll get your views on it very quickly after, is to me, what Gerrard did with those comments he made about Porteous was like Trump with the Capitol riot. He basically incited those Rangers fans to pile on and say the disgusting things. Gerrard did that because, let's be honest, a lot of Rangers fans aren't the sharpest tools in the box, and they'll listen to things a manager says and take it out of hand. And I think that was wrong of him to do that because he knew fine well the reaction that his supporters were going to. So I think Gerrard was completely wrong to say those things about Porteous, and it incited the Rangers fans to do that. So I think for me, it's good that Porteous did that because it's a bit of fun as well. It clearly went over the lassie that was interviewing him's head. It clearly went well over her head, which I thought was brilliant. But I think fair play to him. He's having a laugh about it. He's a young lad, enjoying his football at the club he grew up supporting. He's taken a lot of unnecessary abuse off of Rangers fans, and he's getting the digging which he deserves. So Charlie, we'll get your thoughts on it, mate.
I'm just going to have to put context here that I'm about to leave because I've got a meeting for work. So I'll answer this and I'll go. I thought it was hilarious. It actually had no relevance to the question, but it was like, nah, get up, yeah. And I think that I don't know if you've seen on the TV when we were celebrating, he was doing the zombie motion as well. And I was like, he just hates them, and he just hates them, and that's what we want. But cracking. I love Porteous. Yeah, I think he'll be Hanlon's replacement as captain if he's still at the club. And that could be 5 or 6 years time down the line whenever Hanlon retires. But no, I think it was class. Exactly what we want to see for the Hibs fans in the team. I think that's what we want to see it from. It doesn't matter if, like Doidge and that, they love Hibs, but they didn't understand the hatred between Hibs and Rangers that's been birthed since 2012 when Rangers were formed. So it's good to see that, and I was delighted to hear him say that.
Definitely. So thank you for taking your time out tonight, Charlie. Obviously
no worries.
Jump off now, so
I'll see you
later. And
I'll see you after we've beat St Johnstone next week.
Yep. So
he's doing a Rangers fan. He's leaving at half time.
Guys, we can see you sneaking out.
He doesn't do walking away, but here he goes.
Okay.
So you're now left.
Thank God he's away.
So Anyway, so you're now left in the company of me and Calvin. Charlie couldn't join us for the full podcast tonight, but there's still plenty to go over, folks. So we'll move right on to talk about our next point. And that is, does this game give us a much needed boost? Calvin, what are your thoughts on that, mate?
It's a no-brainer. I mean, everybody's buzzing. Look at the social media. Look at the, look at the social media. Look at the fan engagement. I think people who aren't even Hibs fans will probably turn a wee eye on the Hibs and have a look and see how they got on in the final in the next couple of weeks. Maybe, that absolute the wind up of Gerrard, Slippy G, Boreas winding him up. I mean, I'm sure there's Everton and fans and all that in my life maybe laughing at that if they've seen it. Do you know what I mean? And they might keep a wee eye out. So I think it's been quite good publicity for Hibs as a brand and as a team across the UK. And it was absolutely brilliant. It's been brilliant, man. I've really enjoyed the last 24 hours. It's been class. I do think it gives them a boost. I think everybody's, we hit a slump. I think even being away from Hibs no playing, with the COVID scare and all that, and obviously it must have been about 3 or 4, 5, however many weeks it was we weren't playing. I was Arsenal's mother team, so I was following Arsenal a bit closer, but not the same, It's boring, man. And I think just the fact that the Hibs are back in general would really rally quite a lot of fans and give us a boost. And I think everyone's just what a way to come back, So, yourself.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you. Obviously, people know that Hertha Berlin are my other team, and we lost the Berlin derby on Saturday night, so I was very, very upset before. But Hibs saved it. My first love saved it. But I completely agree with you. It's a big boost, and not just for the players on the park. I think for the supporters as well. Obviously, it's been a difficult few weeks in terms of the games, and this just gave us a big boost. It was a nice day out at Hampden. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because duty called at Edinburgh City, so I couldn't make it through for the game. But I was absolutely gutted. But it was funny because we have quite a few Celtic supporters in our team, and Hannah Preston, one of our players, was going just as she was like she was a Hibs fan basically when she found out the score. We got Erin Burns, who's a Hibby in our team, and all, so she was quite happy about it. And even our Jambo manager Willie was sort of smirking because everybody hates the Rangers, don't they? But
the Old Firm, mate. Everybody hates the Old Firm.
Exactly.
A lot of my mates are staunch Jambos, and you kind of get to the age of maturity where, the Edinburgh rivalry is good and things like that. But a lot of my Jambo mates, I'm kind of at that stage, but not completely. A couple of my mates were cheering for Hibs yesterday because they were saying, I just hate Celtic and Rangers. Like, the amount of injustice they get, the penalties, the red cards, the cheating. You go to Hampden and get beat off of Celtic. There's Celtic fans walking out, not even watching a team lift a trophy. Like, it just doesn't mean as much,
Exactly.
It doesn't mean as much. And a lot of my Hearts mates were saying, Ken, I hope he's going and win it and that. And it's good to see you happy in that. So I was quite nice of him, to be fair. And I'll be honest, see myself, when Hearts do play Celtic and Rangers at Hampden, can't say I'm delighted if they win, but I'm happy. My mates are happy. Ken, what I mean? I just feel like Celtic and Rangers winning everything all the time. I didn't like it. So it's like I think all the other teams come together, like all the neutrals. If it was Motherwell Rangers, I'm wanting Motherwell to win. Or if it's Motherwell Celtic, I'm wanting Motherwell to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just the way I am. But Aberdeen or whoever's playing Celtic in a cup final or Rangers in a cup final, you do tend to go for them just because it becomes, that same old boring two ugly sisters going for it every time for them.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll move on to our next point, which is also got a tough test in the form of Celtic in the final. Now, before I get your thoughts, Calvin, I'd like to bring up a little bit of history. The last time we beat Celtic in a final was the 1972 League Cup final, and that was a 2-1 win for us. Stanton and O'Rourke scoring our goals and Dalglish scoring Celtic's goals. So that shows you how long ago that really was. 1972 is the last time we beat Celtic in a final. So it's a tough test, but do you think we can win the cup?
Oh, of course we can win the cup. I mean, we showed yesterday we could beat anyone. We can beat anyone on our day. We're a good team. Celtic played us at a good time for Celtic, a bad time for Hibs. I don't think that's really a true representation. I think if you look at the second half, yes, I said we were beaten. It's easy to play when you're losing 3-0. I feel like the momentum, and I think it's going to go beyond what's on the park. I do feel that. I do feel like there's going to be other factors that affect the match, and I think it's going to be the fact that the players want to get one for Jack Ross. I really feel that. I really feel like they owe him one and they owe us one, and I feel like that drive and that momentum and things like that. And Celtic are still on a bit of a rebuild, and I feel like other things like that are going to spur us on a wee bit more. And I think we'll win it. It'll be a tough game, a really tough game. But I feel like the football gods will be on our side, and I feel it'll be 3-2 Hibs. David Gray header, got to be the only way. It's the only way. Got to be 92nd minute. David Gray header, boom, down at the Sir David Gray. But I hope he scores it at the opposite end, so both ends of the Sir David Gray end. That would be absolutely fantastic. But no, mate, we have to be realistic. It'll be a tough game. I wouldn't be surprised if our eyes are on that game already and we're preparing for it well before it happens. I know it's not really a professional thing to do, but I feel like they really want that. And look at the buzz the players got from celebrating with the fans after, with us all after it. We were at the match. It was absolutely brilliant. And they'd have loved that, and they'll be buzzing, and they'll want to feel that again. They'll felt the side of feeling bad about it. They'll felt the upset, the misery, and there's the sort of social media abuse and that comes with it. And they'll see the buzz that everybody's had this week and that, and the buzz, and the last 24 hours have been class. If we win that, that's not going to happen just for 24 hours or 40 hours. That's going to go on for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Exactly.
I'm still talking about that Scottish Cup final win. I'm thinking that at least once a week, at least. I could be making my breakfast and I've just got the clip playing in my head, that header going in, and smile at my face every time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it. I think we can beat Celtic. I could just, the image you put in my head of David Gray sprinting off the touchline at the dugout to go and get on the end of the corner. It's got to happen. But no, all joking aside, I think it's going to be a tough test, but we can do it. We can beat anybody. If we show up and we play our good football like we did against Rangers, we can beat anybody. I don't think, Celtic have got a good side, but they're beatable. They've proved that. They look beatable to me. So that was all our talk.
One dodgy thing I might add, I'm no one for being superstitious, but I'm assuming we're the away team in the final, right?
I think we might be, aye.
We got to be wearing the yellow kits.
We might be.
With sunshine and leaf written on them. Otherwise, it's got to be a clash. It could be that. So, I didn't think I've ever seen Hibs. I've never seen Hibs win a cup in a away shirt before. Always been the green and white. So that'll be interesting. That could throw me a wee bit if I'm honest when I'm watching it. But aye,
doesn't it? Sunshine and leaf, but that's our song. That would spur us on. But the other thing is, you look at that history against Celtic. Like I said, we've not beaten them in a final since the 1972 League Cup final. So it is a very, very difficult one. And of course, we've been beaten by Celtic in quite a few finals subsequently. So it is a difficult one, but I think we can do it again. It's a side that we're looking at for revenge. Obviously, the last time we played Celtic in a final was the 2013 Scottish Cup final, which was not, which we did. To be fair, we outsung Celtic, but it wasn't a good day on the pitch. So I think we'll be looking at for revenge for that. So that was all our talk from the League Cup semi-final. Absolutely amazing. I'm buzzing. I can't deny it. I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm still buzzing from it. So that was our talk from the League Cup semi-final. We'll now move on to the St Johnstone preview. Obviously, we're back in league duties. We're up in Perth to play St Johnstone. So, first of all, Calvin, what do we need to do to beat St Johnstone? The games against them are always tight. What do we need to do to beat them?
Score more goals. Score more goals than them.
Well, obviously. Right. Well done, Captain.
I just wind you up. No, I think be on the front foot. Be on the front foot. Definitely. Don't sit back and try and don't sit back and try and defend, and don't sit back and try and go and attack St Johnstone and play. Go and take the momentum of what we've done and go and play, because they're beatable. They're not the same team they were. Yes, they're quite an ugly team to play against, I agree. They're really stuffy. They're really stuffy. They're really hard to play against. But I think have a go at them. They're missing, Kerr, that's a big miss. We'll have a go. But before that, we might see a bit of a changed team with a few people coming in and out because we've got the Ross County game on the Wednesday night. This Wednesday, so before it. So I think I don't know what the squad rotation will be like, but
definitely
go and have a go because they've had some shaky results this year, St Johnstone themselves. Aye, what's your thoughts, mate? I'm not really sure how to answer that one, to be honest with you. I just think we need to keep the momentum going.
To me, like St Johnstone, a team that don't like being ran at. They don't like being ran at. We saw that at Easter Road when we beat them 1-0. Is they don't like being ran at, and to me, they look quite shaky a few times at the back. Like when we were putting the pressure on them properly, we were properly running at them, like pinging out balls to Boyle. They just did not like it. You could tell they looked really, really uncomfortable and really, really unsettled. So I think for me is intensity. We've just got to go at them with intensity, throw everything at them basically. So the next point for St Johnstone is our last visit to McDermott Park ended in a 1-0 loss. So can we shake off the hoodoo we have against the Saints for last season? Obviously, we've sort of touched on that, and I'll give my views first. And I think, yeah, we can, because they're not the same team. Everybody's, figured them out. Callum Davidson's a one-trick pony, basically. He's got the same tactics for just about every game, and people have really figured it out that it's have that mean defence that St Johnstone have. They've got players that are good in the air, and that's it. They've not got anything else to their game apart from that. So I think we can end the hoodoo over them. Getting 2 wins back to back over them after what they did to us last season would be absolutely amazing, to be honest. I think a win at McDermott Park, again, we just keep the momentum going. So Calvin, what are your thoughts on that, pal?
Well, if you go back to the start of the season, we've done our season previews. One thing I said is I don't think St Johnstone will take a point off us this year because that's Hibs' way. We lose a cup semi-final to them and a cup final last year. There's no way they're going to beat us this year, so I think Hibs will win it. It's just the Hibs way.
Yeah,
I think Hibs will beat them. I think it's just typical Hibs, and you'll be thinking, why could we not done this, Ken, a bloody year ago? And that'll be the reality of the situation. I do feel that way.
Definitely. So we'll move on to the lineup, and for me, I think we stick with the 3-5-2. But do you think we should change it up, or do you think we should just stick with 3-5-2, mate?
You need to get some form of consistency before the cup final. We play in that formation, but I wouldn't want to get too much footage on it. For me, like I said, mate, we've got the games are coming thick and fast. I think we're playing 3 games a week for the next couple weeks. 2 games a week. You've got the midweek game, and then you've got
Saturday.
I think we've got Ross County away, then we're home to St Johnstone. Ross County away on Wednesday night. Then you've got St Johnstone away on Saturday, and then you've got the Zombies at Easter Road on Wednesday, and then you're home to Motherwell on the Saturday, and you're away to Livy. That looks midweek as well. For me, there is a lot of games coming up, so I think squad rotation will be really important, mate. I think it'll be really important. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't name a team. I don't know. I think squad rotation will be too important.
Neither could I, because I think it's going to squad rotation is a big thing. Obviously we've got the COVID postponed games as well. So Ross County is the case in point there. So, and it's a tough place to go. So I think squad rotation is going to, have a big impact on us, I think. Yeah. But it would remain to be seen. I can't really name a team either, to be honest. So we've sort of touched on it already, but what threats does St Johnstone pose to us?
Well, as much as they're, like I said, they're hard to break down. They're a stuffy team. They're hard to score against for us anyway in the past. So I think they defend reasonably well. They're a good team. I don't think you can underestimate St Johnstone in any way, shape or form. I think we'll need to be at our best to get a result against them. It will only be a walkover, that's for sure. It's a sticky wee place to go. I'm pretty sure Hearts dropped points up there the other week as well. So they cause a lot. They cause a lot of threats. They play a very boring game, I think. They're a very stuffy team. They didn't really want to play football, and I think they can be quite ugly in terms of the way they play the match. Quite strong as well. They're quite a strong team. So if we can come away with no injuries, and that, I'll be happy. But no, I think they obviously pose a threat. Like the big boy up front, they've got Big Kane. He's all right. And they've got a few other decent players in there as well. But they've got a good goalie in that as well. You know what I mean? So they do have a strong team, and I don't think we can underestimate them.
Yeah, 100%. I think for me, the main threat that they pose is in the air. You know, I think balls into the box are still our Achilles heel this season. So they've got a lot of guys that are good in the air, so that could sort of pose a problem for us. But apart from that, I think they're a very stuffy side. They've been figured out by just about every other team in the league, and they're not the team that they were last season. Everybody knows what threats they pose. So very quickly, before we move on to talk about Hibs women, we'll get quick score prediction from you, Calvin, for the St Johnstone game.
1-0 Hibs.
I'm going to say 1-0 Hibs as well, and I'm going to say Doidge. He'll be back for injury. He'll get a goal. So I'm going to say Doidge to score. So we've done things a bit higgledy-piggledy this week because obviously we had the semi-final. So we'll just quickly go over Hibs women. Obviously, like I said, a bit higgledy-piggledy, but we're going to still talk about Hibs women. And I was going to say save the best to last, but unfortunately the girls...
I agree.
Unfortunately, you know, it is the best till last because we all love Hibs and they're a great group of girls, but unfortunately the result wasn't that great. A 0-0 draw versus Spartans. So after a tough to take defeat against Celtic in the SWPL Cup semi-final, the girls are back in league action. And at their old stomping ground of Ainsley Park, that's obviously where we used to play to take on Spartans, and that's the real Edinburgh derby because obviously the Herts women hadn't been founded until the sort of late 2000s. So
apparently it's only us that call it the Edinburgh Derby, though, Jack. Do you know? The
Spartans only said that because they lost the last time. It's the real Edinburgh Derby. So the last time we played them in a league game was obviously the opener, and that was the 3-0 win at the Tony Macaroni. That was the league opener. So what were your thoughts heading into the game, Calvin?
Is that the one where you seen your old mate?
Aye, that was.
Ron Gordon, aye.
That was where I saw Ron.
You recognised it. For me, like I predicted, I think I predicted a 2-0 Hibs win. It's frustrating. And you know why it's frustrating? It's frustrating because there's a good team there. They are a good group of girls and they play nice football. They shouldn't have lost that to Celtic. They really shouldn't have lost that match to Celtic. Anybody that sees the scoreline thinks, oh, can beat a game. But if you were at the match like we were, they really shouldn't have lost that. They were by far the better team. By far the better team. It's the biggest injustice I've ever seen. I will say though, they need to start picking up results quickly. This group of girls aren't going to stay together for long. I think there's a bit of frustration. I feel a bit frustrated following it. Do you know what I mean? Like Spartans, yes, it's a wee bit of a derby, and you know Spartans are a good team as well. But you know, not being able to beat any of the Glasgow teams and then struggling, maybe not struggling, but not beating Spartans, it's like we need to start picking up points. It's a little bit worrying, I think, mate. I expected a victory, not a complete walkover or a demolishing them like maybe you and Charlie thought with your high score predictions, but a wee bit more realistic the last couple of weeks with my scores. And I thought they should have won it. The quality is there to win that match. It's another slip up. You know, they're coming quite consistently actually.
Yeah,
yourself, mate, because you're the man with the knowledge. You tell me, what did you think?
I thought heading into the game that obviously on anyone that 5-1 prediction came for anyone's game where me and Chris Toner had a very heated debate about whether Hibs were going to win that or not, and I sort of came away with that wild prediction. It's just so I could sing "We Only Won 5-1" to somebody instead of being on the receiving end of it. To be honest,
that Kelly fan.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I think we should have won that game. It was a game that we were perfectly capable of winning of. But we'll talk about it in a second. I don't think we set up right again, unfortunately. I think there's certain players I think should be getting in the lineup and would really, really help us. So we'll talk about the lineup next. And I'll start and say I thought it was a good lineup, apart from the fact that he'd made a few changes again. I think there needs to be consistency in the starting lineup. You can't just chop and change and hope it would work. You need to get that sort of you know, and I think we've got a great group of players. Everybody needs to get game time, understand that. But at the same time, you need to have a consistent lineup so you can get the players to gel and that we can start working as a group. And I think you can't just keep chopping and changing the lineup whenever you feel like it, because it doesn't work. You need to have a set lineup, and you can make changes, but you need to stick that. I was really upset not to see Tony start. I keep saying Tony is such a good player, and I don't know what she needs to do to start, because she's so good. She's played at the top level in Austria. She's played in a big European league like the Austrian Women's Bundesliga, so she knows how to play at the very top level. She deserves a start for me. I keep saying her and McGregor in midfield is 100% the thing we need to do. That's the best midfield we could go in terms of attacking intent. The other thing is Boyle's been getting put out at full back the past couple of games. She can play there, but I think she'd be better suited to the midfield as well. And you've got Shannon Leishman who can play at full back, no problem. Shannon Leishman's a fantastic player. I think she deserves her chances more as well. So I think in terms of the lineup, I was happy, but I was frustrated at the same time.
Yeah.
Because Tony needs to be starting. Shannon needs to be getting a bit more faith put in her. Shannon Leishman. I think we need to be more attacking in terms of how we set up in the midfield. But I think you can't fault the girls, because no matter what the lineup is, they always give it 100% in every game. So Calvin, what were your thoughts on the lineup?
For me, it's bizarre that Siobhan's not been starting as of late.
Yeah, I did think that.
I think she's one of the best players, one of the most consistent. When we had her on the podcast, you can tell she's Hibs through and through, and she loves playing for the jersey. As much as the Eddie's been great, I do feel more comfortable when it's a back two of Murray and Hunter. And I just feel like it was a surprise again that she hasn't started. Like you said, we talked about at the start of the season as well, a lot of chopping and changing in the starting 11. There's obviously reasons for it. I mean, I'm not the manager. I don't claim to be, and my knowledge on the women's game isn't as great as yours is. But I will say I have noticed that as well. Like, it's such a good squad. And I said earlier as well, like, in previous weeks as well, it is a really good squad. And I think the thing is, it's quite difficult. It's almost, it can be a curse and a blessing. I think right now it's maybe a wee bit of a curse, because there's a lot of people who maybe aren't getting as much game time and they're maybe going to be a bit unhappy. And especially when we're not picking up results and stuff as well, to stick with or not try different things is a wee bit worrying, I would say. Like you say, last couple of games we've played good, but we've been unlucky. I think that for me, Siobhan not starting is strange.
Yeah, it is. I think I like Leah Eddie. I'd actually like to see Hunt or Eddie being tried as a combination as well. I think Joelle's brilliant, but maybe pushing Joelle up into midfield, sort of central defensive midfield, because she can play there quite well, and Gia and Leah and Shiv a chance at the back, because I think Leah's a fantastic young player. She's such, and I'm not just saying that because we're like, oh, but your pals there. No, I think Leah is a fantastic young player, and you know she deserves as much opportunities as she can get. Because she's a very classy defender as well, I've got to say. So we'll move on. And I think for me, it was a very frustrating game to watch. Obviously, I only caught the highlights. It was a very frustrating game to watch in terms of when you looked at the highlights. I think both Spartans keeper and Gabby made great saves. We can't deny that. And it's good for Gabby. She was the birthday girl on Sunday and she kept a clean sheet on her birthday. So I suppose that's always good. But I think Gabby was brilliant. Back to her usual self after two sort of mistakes. So she was brilliant. But Spartans never really threatened us that much. And I think to me, Spartans had our number. We knew that we'd be throwing balls into Alexa and sort of hoping for the best there. I thought Alexa was brilliant. She got player of the match for our point of view, like no official player of the match, but the Hibs player of the match, which I think she deserved. Alexa was brilliant again. It's just a shame she can't find the back of net. And I think genuinely it was unlucky. We had one, I'm sure it was Amy Muir, that it bounced off the bottom of the bar and it was just out. Like it was that much away from going over the line. So I think we're really unfortunate with that. So Lady Luck didn't really smile on us in that respect. And at the same time, the Spartans keeper made some great saves. But apart from that, it was a very frustrating game. And, you know, we said it on anyone's game. When I said it would be 5-1, Robbie said, watch it be 0-0. And, well, look at what happened. But I think it was a very, very frustrating game for me. We, at times, just looked too bogged down. And that's not on the girls at all. I think that's just the way it was just the way the game forced it to be bogged down. I think Spartans are a very mean team when they want to be. And in the end, it was two sides that just couldn't sort of crack it in terms of finding that final piece of magic. And, well, it ended 0-0. Calvin, I'll get your quick thoughts on that.
I think one of the things that probably, made the Spartans players want to win the match or not lose the match more was the fact of the sort of social media banner that Hibs had put out beforehand. I don't think you can put content like that out there and then not go out and back it up. It just sort of blows up in your face. And I think, I think those girls would have definitely been up for it, for the challenge, and they would have took that as an insult because it was an insult. So I think on that thought, I think, they were probably already up against it in a way. I also think, it's like I said, it's consistently dropping points. And I'm not really sure what needs to change, mate. It's kind of difficult to put your finger on it because sometimes you watch them and they're really good, and other times you watch them and you're just like, what? Like, where does this come from? And I'm almost a wee bit lost for words in terms of how to really sum it up because it is frustrating. And I think the team deserves more. It is a really good squad. Like, they play good football. Nice football too. And I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like we're not where we maybe could be, or we're not as competitive as we could be. And I feel like this squad is a lot better than what they've shown.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you, pal. I think
Aye.
we've got the ability, but something needs to give. Something needs to give because, like I said, I think you want to be more creative. Playing a defensive midfielder, you put in a centre half like Ellis Notley and at CDM isn't a good idea for me in a game like that. You need to be attacking a team like Spartans. And I think Tony and Shannon, that partnership in midfield, would have given us that. So I think something's got to give. But at the same time, it'll come. The girls are a good group. And I think a bit of a consistency in terms of starting lineup and maybe players like Leishman and Malone, their chances, we'll get there. We'll get there. So we'll quickly talk about the next game for the girls after we've sort of dissected that against Spartans and what our thoughts on the lineup and everything like that. We'll quickly go on to the next game for the girls, and that is Motherwell at home. That's our next fixture. So what do we need to do to beat Motherwell, Calvin?
I think it's just, I'm not taking the mickey here, but I think it's just a case of putting the ball in the back of the net. We're not doing enough of that at the moment. One against Celtic, a couple of defeats before then, scoreless. We need to take our chances. We need to create more. Like I've said, it's a good team. We need to really be on the front foot. I mean, even against Celtic, we had chances to win that. Just not clinical enough, and it's a shame because the striking department in that team is probably one of the strongest elements. Alex Coyle, Gallagher, the other girls are up there as well. Like it's one of the strongest departments, and unfortunately, it's just no ticking at the moment. And they seem to be in a bit of a slump, mate. I think what they need to do is they need to be clinical, and Motherwell's a team that they should be beating. So, they maybe just need to. They need to be clinical, and they need to be aware. They maybe need to have a bit of feeding them in terms of like where they are, and picking up points. And I think they created a real excellent buzz about the team and things like that, especially having the derby at Easter Road. And I think to continue that momentum, they need to give the fans something on the pitch. I know we've been a bit harsh, but I think we need to be more clinical, and they need to get folk engaged again. What's your thought?
I think Motherwell as a team, definitely we should be beaten. Our last meeting against Motherwell was away. That was a 4-0 win for us. So I definitely think that we should be beating them confidently. And I think it could be the game that we could use to get back on track. Also, we're winless in 3. We're winless in 3, and also you'd have to go back to the derby the last time we scored more than 2 goals in a game as well. That's the last time we scored more than 2 goals in a game. So I think Motherwell's the game to do that. At the same time, Motherwell have strengthened. Obviously, we've got 2 ex-Hibees in the squad in terms of Carla Boyce and Katie Rice, 2 very good players that I think it was sad to see them leave the club. I think they're going to come back and cause us a lot of problems. So, but I do think we can beat Motherwell, definitely. And the girls, I know the girls are capable of it. We set up attacking football. Malone and McGregor, Guy Leishman a shout to free Rachel Boyle up in midfield as well. And I tell you what, we'll win that game. We'll win that game. So talking about winning, do very, very quick score predictions. I'll start off and I'm going to say 2-0 Hibs. Say 2-0 Hibs, and I'm going to say the scorers will be Alexa Coyle and Rachel Boyle. Those are my scorers. Calvin, what are your predictions for Motherwell?
I'm going 1-0 Hibs, and I'm going to go Kavanagh.
Good. I like that. I like that. Ginger Ronaldinho. So very, very quickly, I'd like to announce that obviously the derby is going to get played at Tynecastle. The Hearts are returning the favour. Now, like with our game at Easter Road, tickets are free. So get yourselves along. I'm presuming there's going to be an away section. So get yourselves along. Show the girls the support. And hopefully we can outsing the Jambos for 90 minutes as well. So get yourselves along, folks. Tickets are free. A great chance to see us. Here we go, 2 in a row against Hearts. So hopefully we can get a derby win. And also Rachel Boyle back in the Scotland squad as well. So well done, Rachel. Thoroughly deserved. A bit upset not to see Amy Gallagher or Colette Kavanagh in that Scotland team. But yeah, still well done to Rachel. So we'll now move on to our next segment, which is, let me get it, Get in the Bucket. Do a very quick Get in the Bucket this week. And Calvin, first of all, what's getting in the bucket for you?
Get in the bucket. Gosh, you've caught me off guard here. I'm trying to think. Get in the bucket. You go first, mate. Give me time to think. I'm not quite sure.
You're letting the side.
I can. Hey, I've got it. Get in the bucket. Charlie Banks, doing a Rangers fan and leaving halfway during the podcast. Get in the bucket. Charlie Banks.
Walking away. It's the Rangers way. I'm getting the bucket. For me, getting the bucket. Rangers fans that thought it was all right to abuse a wee laddie on Twitter. Obviously, that guy put up his face in front of Hampden. I think that's disgusting. It doesn't matter what your colours are. That was a wee lad going out to enjoy himself with his dad at the football. So it doesn't matter what your colours are. I don't think that's acceptable at all. I think those people should be ashamed of themselves, quite frankly. So that's what's getting the bucket for me, is folk thinking it's all right to pile onto a tweet where it's a dad taking his son to the football. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
There's a level of humanity that comes with being a fan, and for me, that's why I hate them. They're not humane.
The fans always take it too far. So we'll finish up for today. We've got some very quick listener questions, so I'll just go and get those up. And we'll obviously put the call out on Twitter. And you guys, again, fantastic engagement. So start off, and Jeff Ashton asks, where was Jamie Murphy? Not that it mattered, but might need them in the next few games. Also, how good was Porto Mount the effing zombies at the end, as well as trolling of Slippy G? I'll answer that first. And first of all, I think I do agree that we'll need Murphy in the next few games, obviously with squad rotation. Personally, he wasn't a miss for me in the semi-final. And I definitely think that Murphy, he's had chances to prove himself and he's just not done it. And I think so, Murphy, I do think we will have to play him at some point, because obviously squad rotation, we've got a pretty busy time. But as I said, we're playing Saturday, Wednesday, right up until the winter break. So we've got, a tough time of it. We've got a big tough time of it when it comes to that. And I think, Porteous, he deserves that moment. He deserves that moment to be getting his own back in Rangers after the horrible abuse they gave him. So I'm happy. Calvin, take it away.
Mate, I echo everything you said. I agree with you. I think Murphy will be used in squad rotation and things like that. We didn't need him. We didn't really do anything to sort of put his name in contention or in the running for a starting place. He hasn't really done anything. One thing I'll say, they deserved that. They deserved that zombie thing, because you know what? The truth hurts. You are zombies. And, you're lucky Daryl Dixon for The Walking Dead wasn't there as well. But I will say, what I thought was really good about that was the fact, if you're upset by that, then don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Do you know what I mean? It's that simple. It's that simple. The laddie's been through a hard time. He's taken a lot of abuse off them. Even when he got his Scotland call up and that, them abusing them as well. So they're just terrible people.
Yeah.
That's that.
So we'll move on to our next question. This is from Strackmar 1875. Should you still have a hangover a full 24 hours after pumping the Huns? So, first of all, I'd like to say we don't condone language like that. It's sticky buns. Thank you very much. But nah, I'm just kidding. I think, hey, if you had a party, then fair enough. Because I tell you what, Stokesy, it was more than 24 hours he was hungover after we beat them in the cup final. So, yeah, I think you do you, mate. You do you.
Yeah, I'm still hungover and happiness for that cup final anyway. So the answer is no, not unusual.
Yeah, so but a strong opinions, health and safety message is please do not binge drink. It's not a good idea. I thought we've got to be publicly responsible there. That's a strong
Also,
opinions, public safety announcement. We'll move
another
on to the
public
next question.
safety, another public safety announcement: do not go within 10 meters of a zombie, or you will become infected. Do not do it. Stay away.
You'll become infected with the hate. So, well, next question is from Callum Monty. Callum asks, will Cadden or Mueller play at left wing after the semi-final performance from Cadden? I'll answer first and say it's tough. It's a tough one to call. Both are good players, but I think it's good for Mueller to have that sort of opposition for his place, because I think it could be very easy for him to come in, say, oh, I'm guaranteed a spot in the team, obviously playing at the top of the MLS and playing a very good team in the MLS. Oh, I've got a top, I think it'll be good to have that competition for the place. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Mueller's got to be eased into Scottish football. It's a very different game from what they play in America. So I think he's got to be eased into it. And I think for me, until Mueller becomes a bit more settled, Cadden still gets that starting spot. Calvin, what do you think?
Nah, Cadden was superb against Rangers at Ibrox as well. So for me, it's Cadden. Cadden's got to start. There's no question.
Yep. So our final question comes from Matt I'm sure everybody knows him, our American Hibees, does the Hibs Clash podcast. Great guy. I'm amazed at support he gives Hibs. I'm sure he also heads up the Virginia Hibs Supporters Club as well. So that's absolutely amazing, all the way in America. I'm sure he'll be happy that we have 3 Americans at the women's team as well. So Matt asks, can Josh Campbell cement his spot in that starting 11? I'm going to say yes. I think the laddie proved himself. He proved himself. And I've always said that if you're good enough, you're old enough. It doesn't matter how young he is as a player. He can get into the team and prove himself like he did and step up like he did. Then I think like what Charlie said earlier on before he went and abandoned us, I definitely think that he's a replacement for Scott Allen. And I definitely think he's another Josh Doig. The sort of the trajectory he's on. I said that, and just echoing what I said at the start of the podcast, I definitely think that young Josh Campbell has got the ability to cement his spot, and he's just got to keep proving himself. He's got to keep putting in the performances, and Jack Ross will keep giving him the chances. Calvin?
No, mate, I completely agree. I think you can't change a winning team, and he was absolutely fantastic. So definitely be in with the squad rotation in the next couple of matches with everything we've got going on, mate. So that's a yes for me.
And that concludes episode 35. We are very happy, and I hope we're looking happy. So didn't ask any silly questions. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I know it's been a bit of a higgledy-piggledy one. We've swapped around the women's team and the men's team, but I still hope you enjoyed, as always. And thank you for everybody for the support and engagement on the podcast. It's always much appreciated. And until the next episode, we'll see you later.